My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
Yeah, and that means it's Tuesday. Chris Claremont's here to say welcome into the Omni X-Men show. It is Tuesday. We're reading through his omnibuses, the omnibi, the many issues that Claremont wrote for the Uncanny X-Men. That's going to be me looking something like an extra from Sons of Anarchy with this amazing stash and half-begotten beard. And the other half of my goatee, this guy.
The other half of your goatee. We
fit together right now.
Yes, yeah. I love that you play that video. I wonder if we're gonna get tagged for royalties at some point. Chris Claremont did say he was expensive.
At this point, the amount of X-Men stuff I've purchased, he's got my money.
True.
I've paid in perpetuity.
That's
so yeah. How you doing, man? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. Got some more
Happy Chad.
Yeah. I never drink out of mine. I really should start doing that. I always have my glass.
Especially tonight. This is an intense issue of Chodness that we're getting tonight.
It totally is that, and we get some Nick Fury. Just going to throw a curveball to those who maybe haven't read it, but
like how we got Phoenix last week. You just don't know.
Nick Fury. That's true. Very true.
We also have, I think, for the first time ever on the show, a duo as our guests tonight. Yep. We have the co-tandem team of the Ex-Wife podcast, Alicia and another Justin.
Hey!
Gang?
We are hyped with the hype button. How are you guys doing?
Great. Really excited to be here and to talk comics with y'all. Thanks so much for having us.
Always excited to talk comics. And I love the fact that y'all combine to make a full mustache goatee combo.
We've been working on this for a while. So
chuckling in the background.
It's what we live for. Bad facial hair is what we live for.
Yeah. Totally it.
So I found out about you guys through Justin. He was like, oh my gosh, I found the greatest podcast you would not believe. Justin, how did you find them?
I think I first discovered you guys through Instagram, but I actually think I stumbled across your podcast through Spotify and realized that it was the same thing just because the name is very obvious and clear. As I was telling you guys backstage, like trying to find others who could kind of decipher the new X-Men stuff for me, because half the time I'm confused. I never want to admit it to John, so I don't want to go to him for that. And so I found you folks who have always been helpful in reading a lot of the newer, Hickman stuff and everything newer than that. So yeah, for those who don't know who you guys are or don't follow you guys, you all that are watching right now or the replay should be following these two here, the Ex-Wife podcast. You guys really put on a great show, and I love just what you guys are all about. Love the two of you together. Like, you guys are very much just perfect back and forth, and I'm cracking up all the time listening to the back and forth, and at the same time you guys are at an understanding for like everything you guys do. So and it's all X-Men love, it's all mutant love, so anybody who loves this stuff, make sure you're subbed up to them and following them on Spotify.
Oh, stop.
Stop.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's fun because
speech
we have made that our game of just breaking down the Hickman run or the Krakoan era, as it's now likely to be referred to as, because Hickman has stepped away. But there's just so much going on. Like, even people that listen to the podcast are like, I don't understand. There's too many titles. There's so many plots.
So true.
Well, and I know, like with Justin and I, when we got into reading these Omnis, he was coming from I've just read Hickman and I want to get more, and I hear this is where it's going. And I had been coming from, I started with the Claremont and moved into the Hickman, and we both had like friends that we were like, hey, Claiming Comics, like that's the guy. Jason reads everything. He's the guy. Chaos in Comics. So it's always nice to find more people like yourselves who are able to understand what's going on in this current era and then connect it to because the X-Men universe so vast, right? So epic. So I'm always finding a new character that I'm like, who's this guy? Like, how does that guy fit in? And I think Hickman and his progeny have been diving into so many facets of this universe. It's nice to find people like yourselves helping to decipher it.
Yeah, they love to get into the nitty gritty and pull up those like one reference characters that you've never seen since.
And those are the moments when I'm grateful for this, Justin, because the premise of our podcast started out with me never reading an X-Men comic. So like the Krakoan Age was like my first X-Men comic. And so now when we go back we talk about things like this. I want to make Krakoan comics make sense with this, and I'm always like pushing for that. And Justin reminds me, like, Alicia, this was written 30 years ago. They're not one and the same.
Yeah.
But then I get to like learn about it through this like lens of a new reader, which I think is part of what makes the dynamic of our podcast so interesting. Is Justin comes with it from so much history, and I come fresh. So I like to like argue things and be like, no, I think it's this.
And I like to push up my glasses and say, actually, really in 1982,
So good.
Uncanny X-Men number 158.
I love it. But so for anyone who's interested, the links for social media, all that stuff, podcast, it's all down in the description below, so you can subscribe and click over and just hit those notifications real quickly while I'm running through the chat. And then we're going to get to know you two a little bit about what you think of different mutants and different storylines. Cool. So let me jump through the chat real quick. We got Perry tailgating, dropping my daughter Kate's favorite emoji. I don't know why she likes it. It looks like the creepy eyes. Lead singer from one of the bands in Jabba's palace. We got John, Big Daddy Ross. What's going on, sir?
What's up, John?
We got Nigel. What is going on, Nigel? I think he was in Morbius's chat with me just a little bit ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know this guy. We got Krista in the chat. What's going on, Krista? On time. Krista. I was running a little late, but you know. I wonder if tonight's star will set the I want to break free or under pressure. We got Jen. What is going on? Comic books will break your heart.
Hey, Jennifer.
Good to see you, Jen. Let's see. Legion of Comics. I know he's not a huge X-Men guy. He's a Hulk guy. He's an Avengers guy. He's a DC guy. But thanks for coming by and hitting the notification of the like bell. I'm in love with my car, and if you know that reference, you might be old. All right. I mean, I get it. What's up, Fable? Station, sir.
Station Fable.
Let's see here. I do agree that should be a spin-off mutant book. I'm just saying.
Ooh, X-Files.
So you guys better register that before everybody else does. TK, what is going on? TK's Batcave in the chat. We got Brock Morgan in the chat. A little late, but you're working just right on time for us. You're and good. Chet. My man, Chet Scotland. How is it going?
What's up, Chet?
Hope it comes with a prenuptial. Hello. So for anybody new to the Omni X-Men show, Justin and I jump back and forth. You want to make sure you subscribe to his channel and hit that notification bell for him when we're over there for next week. Well, we start each episode by asking some fun questions of our guests, and we end each episode by asking trivia of you in the chat. The goal being that those of you who answer questions correctly or make our guests laugh will get chances to enter into our big giveaway. And at the end of this omnibus, somewhere in June, we'll have a show giving away a ton of stuff. We give away all kinds of things. In fact, that show can sometimes be over 2 hours long, just giving cool things away. Yep. And you get on the list simply by answering some trivia about last week's show, the one that was over on Justin's channel 157. So make sure you're subscribed everywhere, or just make our guests laugh. That's all you got to do. So we're gonna kick it off with a quick interview of the two of you. Justin, you got your questions ready to go?
Yeah. So first question I'd like to ask, and this is for both of you, so each take your turn to share. As of right now, because I'm sure this can change, and I know it changes for me, but as of right now, who is your favorite mutant? If you had to pick one, I should always clarify.
It's like a personality test, right?
Yeah.
Like every time I'm asked this question, I'm like, all right, well, here's a roster of like 5 that all work together on a team, and that would be my dream book. But my go-to is always Nightcrawler. He's been my number one. I mean, but followed closely by Storm and Magneto.
There.
I told you I was going to do it, and then I did it.
Well done.
Oh man. Well, all right. Mine fluctuates, but right now, I will say at this current moment, Magic Ileana is my favorite.
Good pick.
Love it.
Underappreciated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're the teleporters. Yeah.
I that leads to the second question though, which is if you could pick a mutant power for yourself, what would you pick?
I mean, I always answer this question with a trying to cheat. All of my answers are like, well, I think
we're seeing a trend.
I say mind powers, which is that telepathy? Is it telekinesis? Both, if you're not paying attention. And I would likely take telekinesis over telepathy, but I'm trying to get both.
We shall give him both. He is.
I'm gonna go with like a very specific, like Kate, aka Kitty Pride phasing, but I would like to be paired with the ninja abilities as well. Like I
mean, ninjas, that's just training. You could do that on your own, right? You don't even need it.
Just find you an Ogun.
That's great. I'm gonna go with
I mean, Betsy Braddock just had her mind messed up. That's how she got it. I mean, we don't even. They didn't really fully explain what went on there. All of a sudden, she was Asian and a ninja one day. She just woke up.
Yeah, Justin can just insert that into my brain, and then I'll have it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
One last thing I want to ask. So, Justin, you've as you said, you've read a lot of this stuff. I don't know whether it's grown up or recently, but a lot of the earlier comics. Alicia, have you been reading a lot of the Claremont stuff, or are there certain arcs that you're more familiar with than others, or like none at all, or is this your first? Is this like your first Claremont book that you read, or
this is? This might be the first one that I've actually read. Okay, but we've discussed others. Like I'm familiar with Days of Future Past and other ones, right?
Phoenix Saga.
The Phoenix Saga. Oh, and the whole like Storm and Magic mini series.
That's a good one. That's in this omnibus.
Yeah. So there's a handful that I have a sense of because of Justin telling me about them on our show. But I think this might be one of the only ones. I've got to have read some other ones because I always go into these going, oh, there's a lot of words on the page.
I keep on leaving the issues out, just like open to the book. I'm like, hey, if you're not doing anything,
on the kitchen table conveniently, just
right
there, yeah,
trying to trap her into a good story.
That never worked in my house.
No, I'm getting closer and closer. Thank you all for bringing her into this issue.
Yeah,
we had gone through 160, probably one of the more recent ones of the Claremont era that we had done, just because of leading into Magic's story arc.
Didn't we read one for the Excalibur podcast?
Well, that's Excalibur. Yeah,
that's not Claremont.
Yeah, it was Claremont.
Okay,
I'll say he wrote a bunch of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the Cross Time Caper. We were on an Excalibur podcast.
So I have to follow this with asking you, Alicia, would you eventually plan to, or are you already planning to eventually read some of the classics that you had just mentioned, like the Phoenix Saga or Days of Future Past at some point?
I always want to say yes to that question. I would love to. If someone could just like take a month of time and just put the rest of the world on hold, like I'll sit down on the top of a mountain somewhere by a lake, whatever, and just read comics. But
love it.
Realistically, I don't know.
No time.
In my
right
heart, yes. In reality, questionable.
Yeah. Well, when we extend the days to 36 hours, then maybe that.
Right. No,
John and I were working on that. So, yeah.
But then, don't you still have to work like 30 of them? That's not
right.
That's not the rule. Capitalism, man. Capitalism. A few more folks in the chat. We had Aggressively Relaxing. Good to see you.
Hey,
I saw Alan. What's going on, Alan? I hope you're having a great day.
Love it.
And let's see, did I miss somebody? I thought I missed somebody else. TM Nerdy, what's going on? TM.
Oh, TM. Travis.
Good to see you. And
Bobby down the bottom.
Bobby. What is up, Bobby?
What's up, Bobby?
Good to see you, sir. Thanks all for coming by. Let's get into this particular issue. We're talking about issue 158 tonight. And right there on it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots right there on the front. Just Rogue laying a mutant out, man. So when you saw this cover, Justin, you always like to look at it from the perspective of, would I buy this cover? How did this one trigger you?
Yeah, so from that aspect of would I buy this cover, I think this definitely draws my attention, especially seeing Rogue, who we haven't necessarily seen in any of the other X-Men, other than reading Avengers 10, at least for this show, Omni X-Men.
Yeah.
So that definitely caught my attention. And of course, anytime you see Wolverine being, sent somewhere in that way, you're definitely got to be like, whoa, I gotta check this issue out. I will say, and as we get into the book more, I kind of wish that there were some other characters in it that
on the cover.
That I feel like this ends up being more so than anything else. Rogue, obviously, yes, very much so. But Carol Danvers, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, because this is a real Carol Danvers focused issue, right? And she's not anywhere to be found.
No, I wasn't expecting the direction that this issue goes at all. So that's definitely kind of threw me off. But yeah, as a cover as itself, I like the red solid background, all that stuff too. So I'm down for it.
So Alicia, when you saw this cover, were you like, who's the crazy lady hitting Wolverine? Because it doesn't really look like Rogue that we see her in currently, right?
It's true.
No, but as a cosplayer, I like to kind of get a glimpse of all iterations of people's costumes. So through like Google image searches, I've kind of seen this before.
Okay, good. Because she's basically styling the Wolverine hairstyle in this issue. I mean, it's basically just a degree or two off.
Yeah. For me, I look at a cover, and then if after I read the issue, I don't feel like the cover was a good depiction of something that's actually in the issue, then I get upset.
Right.
This is like, this could have been an actual scene right from the issue. So
right? Totally.
For me.
Yep.
And what about you, Justin? Not the other Justin.
I just answered, John. I just answered.
I'm gonna mute you.
I'm a big fan.
How do you like this one?
Just because I love seeing Rogue in a villainous side, to have her deck Wolverine, who is a heavy hitter in his own right, and then to just be unfazed by Storm zapping her on the side. No, yeah, Rogue is a threat.
Yes. Yeah, and I love the red-blue kind of combo they've got here. The red background with the blue kind of like Marvel across the top, and the blue walls that are kind of breaking down there. I like that red-blue combo that they got going on the cover. All right, let's dive right into to issue 158. We start off with Chode.
Page turn noise for this.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you totally should.
Kind of, it's a thing I do on our show. So ready? Here we go. Page turn noise.
Yes. I crossed my mind earlier in the show. I'm like, I have to have her do that. I'm glad you said something.
So good.
Sorry, carry on.
I love it. So yeah, we jump right back in. The mutants and Starjammers are all hanging out. Everybody's favorite gremlin, ripped and muscular, Chode, is exercising with Hepzibah and with Raza and some blonde lady, and we're like, wait, where are my mutants? And then turns out blonde lady's Carol Danvers, depowered in storylines we didn't actually see except for Avengers 10 Annual 10. She's still holding her own against 3 aliens, seemingly superpowered or half robotic aliens, and doing some good stuff there. Like, Justin, is this how you were expecting this issue to start?
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I'm glad that, obviously it makes sense. Like, we've just been reading a lot of Starjammers. So to continue on with some of their stories, I'm glad to see him here. And we definitely get like the Danger Room vibes that we've gotten obviously through the past 2.5 seasons that we've been doing this. So it was almost like that, only it's not any X-Men, which is like really weird. No mutants there at the time. So
in fact, the word blocks even mentioned like, nope, these aren't X-Men. But they're friends, I swear.
Yes,
like, it was almost like the writer, like Claremont was like trying to ease your mind a little, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And also I wanted to ask you, how do you pronounce the little guy on the shoulder? That
dear God.
Do you say Curry?
I'm gonna make the other Justin answer this one. What is the name of Chode's buddy?
Little fuzzy pet friend. Cree.
There it is.
Okay. So you do like break it. That's how I kind of picture Cree. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got the double R's.
Then is it Chod?
Yes.
Chod.
It is.
It is Chod.
Is it Chod?
Chod.
Oh.
Very odd. Chod.
Is it like, because if that little apostrophe means take a breather in between the syllables, right? Now, Alicia, are you familiar with many of the Starjammers at this point in your reading?
Yeah, they're around in Krakoa, so I'm familiar, and I refuse to pronounce it any other way than Ch'ad or Chod.
Okay.
Yeah, know what's up with the Starjammers. They feel
Nice.
at home.
And then Carol Danvers at this point, depowered. Have you read much with her? What did you think of this little bit with her?
So I haven't read much, but I did know that Storm took her powers and that was a thing. Like that's
Whoa.
sort of Storm. Hello, hi, what's up? My name's Alicia. I'm new here. It's Rogue. Rogue took her powers. I knew that as like X-Men lore. So this was like, okay, I don't feel super lost. Sometimes I'll jump into an issue and be like, hello, what is this? I mean, I did ask Justin at a few pages in. I looked at him and I said, am I reading the right issue?
Right.
Are there going to be some X-Men in this X-Men book?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about Rogue, right?
Yeah. They had mutants on the cover, right?
Love it.
I guess.
I want to know how they arrived at this being a fair test of, is this human lady still a human? I don't know. Let's just jump her. Let's just 3 aliens and a little furry dude. Let's jump her and see what she does.
It's so accurate. It's so accurate. Yeah. So for good to see you, Candace. For those that don't know why they're fighting, the next page gives us a little information on how the team is resting. Some injuries happened, and to test Carol Danvers, we got our old friend Dr. Corbeau back, and he's running some tests on her abilities, and they're trying to take care of Peter and Professor X. So they're relaxing in their like Bermuda Triangle layer that they took from Magneto long back. And so they're apparently testing her by having a 4-on-1 like competition, and she's doing all right, even though she's getting beat up a little bit, knocked down. They're sitting on her. Yeah. And then we've got Peter recovering Colossus with his sister. They're watching old sci-fi movies and Kitty Pryde. Lots of thoughts, lots of thought bubbles, just kind of thinking and being in that teenage emotional space. And then, of course, Professor X laid up with psychological trauma of some sort. So is this, you joked earlier, Alicia, about how like, oh, this is when there's lots of words on the page. Like, holy cow, it was almost like reading a Hickman info dump, right?
Oh, it's so many. It's so many. It makes me, I like it. I like knowing all their inner thoughts, but it makes looking at the art a whole nother layer. Like you can't read and look at the art at the same time, or I can't. I had to read it and then go, what is this picture? And then but I do appreciate the separation of like the different types of words, the letterboxes, like what's a voiceover, what's the like internal dialogue, what's information you need to know. So, but it's a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, where is it, Jackson Roy Kirk? There's more words on these 2 pages than in any modern book.
I love me a good like Ben Percy Wolverine that's like 1 grunt and 4 pages of art, Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Totally.
Justin, podcast Justin, was this like an epic info dump for you? How much of this was like, oh yeah, I totally remember where we are?
I remember so I had recently revisited the full Claremont run with all the spin-offs, tie-ins, what else came out of it. But even just seeing this, mainly what this made me feel was like, why about this relationship? Like she even says she's 14 and he is a vague 18 to 20 something year old. And then I am curious who left these 2 alone at the mansion while they do the rest of the issue. Why was that a good idea?
Yeah, we had an interesting discussion about that relationship and the flaw in that age and how it just didn't really work at this time in X history. And Alicia, I don't know if you know the like controversy that's kind of stemmed from how this relationship started, but it's not a good look.
No.
I mean, and it seems like Claremont's trying to make it work throughout the years. Like Kitty is the only character that ages. Everyone's just kind of stuck as birthdays and all these other things. Like she's going through all these milestones, and everybody's just like, I'm a vague 20-year-old.
Yep. He was trying to ratchet it up, like, yeah, we're gonna skip a birthday. She's aged 2 years.
Yeah.
Justin, what are your thoughts? Sorry, other Justin. This is really gonna be strong. I don't know why I'm doing.
I love this.
I'm so glad to call you No Good Comics. The rest of the night. No Good Comics. So, what did you think of all the info dump they're giving us here on these pages?
I'm so glad that Alicia and Justin had joined us on a night that it's on your channel. This is really entertaining.
Yeah, I gotta drive the car.
This is extra entertaining. So yeah, definitely. I know like you said, we've talked about it several times, just kind of the awkwardness of the age difference and stuff like that. I will say, generally speaking, with just all the different scenes that are going on here, this is again and I've said this in the past, what I really enjoy about Claremont and what he does with the different characters all throughout this long series of X-Men, where we get some casual moments, we get some downtime moments. It's not just saving the world 24/7. We get to see them practice. Like, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, like superheroes should practice too, like fighting and all that other stuff. And then relationships, even though this is an awkward one, it's still relationships in general. It's nice to kind of see the idea of that. So I like these little moments, and that they take a page or two to show off that stuff. We even get Moira, which is great, because I always think of
her first appearance in the Machine Gun.
Well, that too. No, but I'm thinking
you're thinking of the one that skinned Banshee and decided to wear it.
Yeah.
That one. That one.
Yeah. I love reading old classic Moira with that now in mind. Of like,
yes, that's
how is this woman just hanging out in the corner? No one seems to know she's there, casually sipping tea. Like, wait, Moira, have you been watching us the whole time?
Yep.
Yeah, she's casually Hannibal Lectering.
Yeah,
it's awkward.
Just chilling.
So she's also helping to try to break down what's going on with Carol now that she's lost her powers, but still seems to retain abilities. Like, there still seems to be some innate skills that she's retained. They're also looking over Professor X, who's bedridden now that he's back with his Shi'ar queen, and they're running some tests. And I decided to blow this panel up, and I posted it on my Instagram because I love it so much. But
great.
They're using Oracle, a Shi'ar guardian, to kind of psychically examine Xavier and see if they can aid him in any way. And in doing so, she taps into a whole mess of things going on inside of his psyche. I'm going to go, Justin, No Good Comics. I'm going with you first. Like, when you turned this page, were you reading it digitally, and did it give you the whole thing, or did you get like an eyeball and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah, I read it digitally first time around just because of my schedule, and it was amazing. Again, why I love digital, but like just being pulled to different areas and not quite knowing what's going on. I started to guess like, oh, we're gonna get like this large splash page of some sort, as it's telling the story, and then of course, you just get hit with this entire thing. I love it. I thought it was so great. This is definitely the artwork of the book for sure for me, and just seeing again the glimpse of what seems to be at peace, Professor X laying there, and then Oracle. I feel bad for her because she got destroyed in just taking a glance into all this. So still curious what goes on with that, and as just getting a little sprinkle of where Professor X is right now. But really wicked stuff.
Hard pass, Bobby. Hard pass on the back tattoo. Lower back tattoo. We can talk. Podcast, Justin. Where do you come down on the Claremont-era artists? Because obviously Byrne gets most praise, but for me, I feel like, this is Dave Cockrum hitting a home run.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite panel of the issue. I again, all of my answers are going to be wishy-washy when you ask one thing. Man, Byrne, Cockrum, Smith, Silvestri, like who I'm not going to say JR, but I think they all bring very specific talents to, like, Cockrum is the big space guy, and he does these wild sweeping pages that I can just stare into all day. And then Byrne, he's doing all these like different kind of techniques of physicality and action. And I can't pick one. Can't they all just collaborate on one big comic jamboree and
Chocolate and peanut butter go together.
Yeah.
yeah, and it makes it that much better.
Now, Alicia, when you turned to see this panel, were you reading it digitally or were you reading it in the
So
book?
I was reading the book. And I really love it. I love it when the art has like a psychedelic feel to it. And then I was like picking this apart and I'm like, that's what I do. I pick it apart and I'm like, what is this? Is this a brood? What is this little?
It's it's a brood. Yeah. And very much in keeping with the inspiration of like Alien, right?
Yeah. So I was like intrigued by all of that. But I really love it. I like that his head looks like it's on fire. But his brain is exploding. It's cool.
And if you notice, it even bleeds up and in around the panels above it, because on the far side of the it's yellow, right? Behind Storm's head, it's all yellow, but behind Oracle here, it's all white. And if you look down below, the flames are on that yellow side, and it's all white on the other side. Like the color, it's almost like they just laid those 3 panels on top of the upper half of the drawing in a kind of cool way.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Those little touches.
It's classic Claremont to, in one panel, be like, hey, 5 issues from now, we're going someplace. We're doing some big things.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's going to come next time, but just make sure you stick around.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Subscribe.
It'll be back.
So, Oracle it takes in a ton of power and like they don't know what to do. And the solution is like, get the guys with the claw to fix it. And okay, just hit them, just cut them, just cut it, do it. And then it says blammo, really big. So I had to go with my blammo man there. Stranger Things.
I live for these gifts right now.
Yeah,
he's the man with the gifts. You're gonna get a lot of great ones.
And I love how like this poor lady Oracle like totally traumatized by this, but like only Moira checks on her. Everybody else is like, hey, we got other stuff to worry about. Is Professor X okay? No, he's still the same. Kitty's coming in, but everybody's like, no, the lady who was helping us. I kind of feel like they ignored her. Alicia, did you feel like they ignored Oracle at the end here?
Yeah, I was a little. I mean, I was like, okay, at least Moira's there, but everyone was like, shift, gotta go.
Yeah, right.
I felt like that happened. I don't know, frequently in this section of the book was like, we're training, we're gone now. We're with Professor S. We gotta go.
Gotta keep going. Gotta keep moving.
Gotta keep moving.
Even Lilandra, and that's your people. Like that's your number one telepath.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my boyfriend though.
Yeah.
X-Men are on TV,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Get the popcorn.
Justin, did you feel like? I mean, we've been complaining a little bit that in the post-Byrne era, especially, these issues do feel like there's like a gunshot pace. It's just got to go.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. And the way we jump scene to scene has gotten, I feel like, more drastic, especially over these past few overall. But yeah, I mean, I again, more of like just the artwork for me, like that panel right next to you, John. Just love seeing how like Oracle's head snapped back. Yeah, the top one.
Mm-hmm.
And just the pinks and the yellows and everything else color wise. And then I wasn't expecting Wolverine to like be the one to like do anything here. I'm going to use my claws to cut a psychic link. Yeah, like I kind of pictured like no one else seeing anything, and it was just Oracle and Professor X, and all these colors are just between the two of them. Not that everyone else necessarily could see all that or cut it, or anything like that. But right. I guess so. I do like the use of blammo, though. I don't think I've seen that in comics, at least not from this.
I love a good onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Blammo.
Yeah.
There you go. And then Kitty Pryde comes in. She's like, "What's going on?" Oh wait, there's news. They jump over, and now there's like a news show, and Robert Kelly's back. God, that guy will not go away. And he's talking about mutants are bad, and then the journalist is like, "Wait, are you saying that we're gonna judge these people for doing nothing?" He's like, "Well, I can't deny that, but I'm gonna say it anyways."
Yeah.
He's like rambling off how awful mutants are and that we need to do something about them. And the mutants, of course, not so happy about it. And then the revelation that there are files that the government might have on the X-Men that could potentially cause a lot of problems for the team, and that maybe they need to find a way in and delete those before Senator Kelly might do something bad with them. Justin, did you remember Robert Kelly? Do you remember Senator Kelly at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just from Days of Future Past, and
Right.
obviously like the movie, but yeah, Days. I mean, I'm glad to see like this direction, because this is the stuff that I find so fascinating. Knowing like the whole idea of like, and I know this is all X-Men, but like humans versus the mutants, and how anti-mutants some of these humans are, and just the war in general on it. I always found that interesting. So it's and obviously, I mean, very relatable to the real world in many ways too. So I like that we're getting back to this a little bit more, even though we are still dealing with aliens and other things I know come up. But at least we get a little bit more of a add-on to this part of the story, and hope to see more of that. I know he writes deep into a lot of the stuff, the war on.
And we've got God Loves, Man Kills in this
Right.
volume as well, and that's coming up later on as well, and that brings a lot of this in. How do you? I mean, I'm sure, being an X-Men fan podcast, Justin, that the Senator Kelly Sentinel humans versus mutant stuff is probably pretty close to your heart, right?
Oh yeah, that guy's a jerk, and life he's just like, oh, I hate those guys.
Mm-hmm.
His logic here is completely ridiculous. He's like, oh well, they don't have any kind of government contact. Main point of this issue is that they do have government connection, and well, we don't know where their powers come from. Like, do you know where all the Avengers powers come from? You just
Right.
because they weren't born with them. It's a straw man argument, Robert Kelly.
Yes. Even the newscasters like calls him out, and he's like, I can't deny that, but I'm going to keep going.
Right. Didn't they save you like this time and this time?
Yep.
I'm not here to talk about that.
Don't change the subject.
You made a mess.
He's like the king of the talking points, right? He's got to stick to his book. He can't go off script at all.
Get you back on track.
Oh, it's so good. I like this question from Bobby. I think that is the first time Storm's done a fastball special. She swept him up in a hurricane and threw Logan, right? I mean, does that count?
I love how surprised he is too. He's like, "Hey, whoa! You big wrecking guy grabbing me by the butt and throwing me."
Yes. Never toss a dwarf. We know this. What are you doing to the little guy? Yeah, I agree. Mutants have been a stand-in for different minorities through history, and obviously there's some comments that Claremont was definitely trying to make here with that. What is up? Kevin from Entropy and Comics is here. Good to see you. Kevin. And I didn't say hi to Jackson Roy Kirk. I don't think. What's going on, sir? They do a lot of good. We need to lock them up. I mean, that's how it works, right?
Pretty much.
What's going on, Eric? You got to have a good jerk to root for the hero, to root against for the heroes, right?
Yeah.
It's vital stuff. Let's keep going along here. Then we're going to cut all the way across the planet to the Swedish chef. I don't know what is going on. Alex Summers. I think Alex Summers is a joke. I mean, I like the character. I think he's very entertaining, but like, you really got to put him in that hat. Who wears that hat at home when they're cooking? Nobody wears this hat. It's ridiculous. And my favorite thing about this sequence is he's cooking, he's happy, he's with Lorna, and Cyclops just walks in. Here's Dad, and that's the end. We get nothing else with them the rest of this issue.
Right.
Tell me, Alicia, Justin, that you guys read this and were like, that's it?
It's like 4 panels of cooking, and we're at home and we're having fun. It's like, oh yeah, here's your dad. Just I just found out about it. I didn't sit on this information for months at Storm, so I'm a good guy.
Good guy. Yeah. Well, first I was like, oh look, Alex, he's happy.
Never happy.
He's doing something he's enjoying, and he's smiling. And then I feel like Cyclops maybe like call and say like, hey, I'm gonna come over, I have some big news,
right?
I have something I need to tell you. Not like, hey, what's up, this is Dad, and
okay, bye
gotta go, just gonna drop this on you and leave. It was very, very abrupt. I feel didn't really give Alex any warning,
and just landed on their lawn in a spaceship.
Yeah. And that's
It wasn't even like they called or took a plane or just they're look at that thing. It looks like straight out of the sci-fi movie they were watching earlier. You got to think their neighbors are like, what is happening over there?
What's going on?
I mean, she's got green hair. They're probably like, yeah.
Yeah, they're not normal.
They're mutants. Stay away from them.
Justin, what were your thoughts on this scene?
I'm still laughing at the gifs. You're not my dad. You guys nailed it. Definitely abrupt the way that, I mean, I thought we'd certainly get more, or I don't know, just a different type of buildup than the way he did it. I will say, I like that panel of Alex like sipping the soup there, testing out the tasting. Yeah, that's a well drawn there. He's like squinting one eye as he's tasting it.
And it's also good, his apron says chef, just in case you were confused.
Yeah.
That the hat didn't tell you. Like,
who here is the chef? Excuse me.
I wonder who the chef might be.
Yeah.
The other side of the screen there, we've got the Pentagon, and we've got this master plan that we never really saw them work out. But apparently, they're going to have Wolverine dress in a uniform. They're going to have Carol Danvers get her uniform back on, because both at different points in career, soldiers, right? They're going to apparently just walk right into the Pentagon with awesome looking Storm, who's just pulling off the Jackie O look there to a T. And they're just going to roll up on these guys with Wolverine's ID, and that's all they need apparently to get into the Pentagon.
Is it that easy? Like, no, this is our friend. We're just visiting the Pentagon. Here's my medals. That's all the identification you need.
For me, it was like, hold on, you guys are setting off an alarm. Like something's not right. And then I was like, I don't have time for this. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, go.
Sorry, didn't mean to upset you.
What's the point of the alarm? Like,
I've got metal in my head. Trust me.
I love Storm. Like, please don't stab these people, Wolverine. It's okay. Murder people. We're in the Pentagon, man.
But like, how is she talking to him like that?
She's clearly not. They want to. It's almost like they're trying to treat us like she's a psych, like she's got the telepathy powers to speak to him. She's just really. It's really just her hoping. She's like, please don't.
I think this is like just her daily what she deals with being associated with Wolverine, and she's just like, oh god, another guest that maybe he might rip up, maybe he won't. Like, please just be good. Yeah. It's like a little kid.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? I love this. Bobby says, I don't think those sideburns are regulations, soldier.
We'll do it differently in Canada again.
Yeah, exactly. A Canadian, a civilian, and someone from NASA. Go on in.
One other thing with the Corsair thing, I think would have been really funny is if, like, as he introduces Corsair like throws a mitt at him and is like, want to go outside, son? And
that's how to catch.
I'll explain everything. Come have a catch with your old pop.
Sadly, maybe that's in the next issue. We can only
hope.
So they get inside and they're walking down a corridor, and there's this impeccably dream-dressed woman that just happens to bump into Carol and be like, oh dang, that's the lady I almost killed. You're still alive? And then it's like all heck just completely breaks out. You got Rogue trying to kill her again. You got mutants busting out their powers in the corridor. It's like they didn't even get down the hallway into this place, and they're already just destroying it. Rogue's trying to kiss Wolverine, then she's hitting Wolverine, then he's hitting her. This to me just felt like I had to find some like old movie. Like, it just feels like slap him, then kiss him, then slap him some more.
Then kiss him.
Alicia, were you just like, is this what Rogue is?
Well, I was like, oh, okay. I like seeing Rogue as a villain. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's a kiss. Yeah. That's not like some superpowers. That's like, I'm going to hold onto you and suck your soul out of your body for like 5 minutes, and then I'll move on. But I find it really interesting, like looking at the way that bodies are drawn in action. And I'm really here for the like very dramatic way that Rogue, like when Wolverine tackles her, she's like, oh no, you got me. I don't know. She's like doing the like, I'm a king of the world, Titanic. I don't know, maybe she's in Swan Lake, something. She's the most gracious fall I've ever
she's got this like Kathleen Turner long, tall, like skinny lady thing going, and like the grins and the eyebrows, right?
God, yeah. The other thing that I'll say is looking at this in the most recent Hellfire Gala like look designs, I was like, what in the why is Rogue dressed the way she is in that design? But now I'm looking at this and I'm like, did the artist take inspiration from this plaid situation going on? That is a skirt, let me tell you.
Right? I love. So Candace is saying, I'm very confused by Rogue here. I clearly haven't read before. The truth is that this is like Rogue's second appearance. So you're not lost. Like if you've read Avengers Annual 10 and then you read this, you've read everything with Rogue up to now. The problem is that for those that don't know, like Miss Marvel, the series was cut short and Rogue was to be introduced there in the final issues of that. She was supposed to take like they show you down there, Carol's powers away, depower and nearly kill her. And that was supposed to be kind of the end of that run. They had already introduced her mother Mystique, and then Rogue was the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants character. And that run got cut. They didn't finish it. So her introduction ended up happening in Avengers Annual 10 with like a whole, oh, by the way, she took Carol's powers thing. And then they threw her in here and another book that I'll mention at the end that came out the same week or same month. And that was it. That was Rogue. She was a villain. She was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. She was always around with Mystique and causing havoc with those sinister eyebrows and that apparently Wolverine haircut.
It's always interesting to me how mature the women look. Like Kitty doesn't look 14.
No.
Rogue looks like she could be maybe like
she's a teenager.
Stingy old grandmother. They don't look very young.
No, not at all. Well, plus she's got the gray. She's got the like twinning gray look there. Justin, after Avengers Annual 10, does this work? Justin, podcast. After you've read Avengers Annual 10, do you feel like this works for you? Like this drove me crazy as a kid.
I mean, there's no through line. There are definitely panels and pages missing. My biggest question is, what is she doing in the Pentagon? And is that ever explained? Like, she doesn't even have an army suit on. She's not even trying to do. Is it?
She didn't walk in with a Canadian.
Right. Bring your adopted daughter to work day at the Pentagon. I don't know, but it's never explained.
Apparently, it's anybody. They've got a revolving door policy there that's really working. What's going on? Art Chemist, it's good to see you. But Candace, don't worry. As Chaos says, it never made sense. And we just got to walk away. We just got to walk away from that one. So No Good Comics, where you're just like, okay, they're going, what's wrong? What's happening right now?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm with you, Alicia. Like anytime I see these earlier artwork of what Rogue is here, I'm always like, where's Rogue and who's this older woman? Like that like is she also looking for Rogue? Is this it always throws me off. I'm so much more used to the more modern, I guess, Rogue artwork. But
Chaos is always honest about how we rip on and make fun of and comment all the way through the issue and then give it a solid grade at the end just for history's sake. So when you're wondering why he keeps dropping 8.5s, because that's what we did last time when he was on. Deal with it.
Yep. I like that Rogue just like chucks Wolverine up into the sky, into the ceiling the way she does there. I thought that was some cool action, and I wasn't expecting the kiss, or at least not like that, like you guys said.
Wolverine's like, what is happening right now? You hit me 3 times. We're tackling each other. I don't know. And of course it just keeps going, right? We have like, then they rip her clothes off and she's got a whole other green suit underneath. And then Storm's like, I don't need my other outfit. I'm just going to go full costume.
Yep.
Carol's like, give me that pistol, soldier. And she starts popping caps at these guys. This whole corridor has gone ape. And then on top of that, while it's going down, this mysterious woman who looks kind of like Baroness from Cobra and G.I. Joe walks in the background and has thought bubbles that let us know, oh, that's Mystique. Mm-hmm. Apparently the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants was doing something in the Pentagon and got interrupted here. And they're going to get in trouble for it if they're not careful. So Mystique has got to figure out how to play this with her powers while she watches her daughter just break the walls apart. So No Good Comics, how are we doing with this sneaking into the Pentagon thing?
Yeah, so I like that we get Mystique here. I think that it's cool, especially like, I mean, for any like reading it for the first time, not knowing not knowing like how, like maybe not like considering how to use Mystique's powers. Like this is a great way to kind of continue on with building her character. So I like that aspect of it, and just having her be included. And like you said, yeah, there is some sort of big plan that we don't really know, what's going on. But it is pretty crazy that they both happen to be breaking in, at the same time for whatever the reasons are, unless the reason is they both saw the news and maybe they both were like, oh, we have to handle this in our own way, which I guess is, it's definitely possible. But yeah, the gun firing off, that was pretty over the top, I thought.
Carol Danvers is, she doesn't play around. She just sees the soldiers who are just like staring, like, what is going on? Why are these ladies in their underwear? And she's like, shoot at them, man. Shoot them.
Do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you turn to this page, Alicia, were you just like, what? Now there's Mystique? What's going on?
Well, I think if it hadn't been for reading Days of Future Past and knowing that Mystique like worked and in the government, I would have been like, oh, what? And also, why does she look like that? But I was like, wow, this is just, everybody's here.
Everybody,
the gang's all here. We're bringing them all in. And we have no clue why. But I'm here for it. I really read all comics with just an expectation that I won't understand, and just know that I'll just let it soak in, and maybe in the end it'll make sense.
You just go with it.
Yeah.
So podcast, Justin, No Good and I have jokes about how like sometimes characters just get a gun in this comic, right? Like Moira's first appearance is, oh, there was a machine gun in your armory and I'm going to shoot the big monster with it. Right. We got Carol doing the same thing with this pistol now. It's just a lot of gunfire.
She walked in with that and blamed it on Wolverine. Oh no, that was Wolverine setting it off. Sorry, I'm just here. I think she slipped that off of someone else. No, that's just a casual back pocket gun.
Have guns.
I mean, safety first when you're around these mutants and shapeshifters and such.
Gotcha.
So amidst all the chaos, Storm sneaks off with Wolverine, just sort of, cradle babying him. He's got to be heavy with all that metal, and then now Rogue has his abilities, so she sniffs him out. She bursts through a wall, and she's right there on top of them. And the whole time, Storm's just thinking, yeah, I really hope Carol Danvers finishes this mission for us because we're really blowing it.
I love this panel of Rogue popping through the wall. Mm-hmm. It's just like, surprise, y'all, here I am.
Very Kool-Aid man of her.
Oh, John, that's a missed opportunity.
Kool-Aid, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh wow, that is phenomenal. Yeah, amidst the chaos. Yes, chaos. I did say your name. So yeah, then they call in Nightcrawler. They're like, hey, we really, I guess, should have just brought you in the first place with Tony's little technology, but we didn't. He jumps in, grabs Rogue, flips her, and then disappears. He's just messing with her now. He's like, I can handle this. What's the problem, Wolverine? You can't handle this lady? I got it. Mystique, meanwhile, is following Carol Danvers, trying to figure out what Carol's doing. She decides the best way to mess with her is to turn into Nick Fury. Meanwhile, like Wolverine is totally fine punching ladies now. He's like, I'm gonna lay this frail out, and just totally knocks her through a wall. There's a lot of stuff to take in here with this fight. No Good. How are you feeling about this battle?
Yeah, so I love the panel of Rogue like punching through where it says crump. Yeah, and you get Banff on the other side. So seeing these two go at it was really cool, and knowing that Rogue has all these other potential powers that she can take, her being surprised by Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler still not, I don't think he fully knows how her powers work either, but I just like that they mix it up either way. Also the thing with Fury, didn't we get that before? Wasn't that strategy used once already for something else? Or
Mystique, you mean went as Nick Fury?
Yeah, was that in Avengers 10 or
it might have been? I don't remember.
Or am I
I'm not surprised. I mean, she usually picks a person of power and influence that can then control whomever she's around.
Yeah, right. I wonder where I saw that. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, that's So that's where I'm
So podcast, Justin. I know you and I know there's a lot of family drama happening on these pages that we don't know yet. How do you feel looking back on this family, this dynamic?
Well, I mean, so I love Nightcrawler, and I hate to say that it's kind of characteristic that he has weird relationships with his almost sisters.
Yeah.
So this interaction between him and Rogue is like, hey, back off, mom's in the room. Like, there's a lot of family drama here, and there's a lot of family drama in his life, and there's no good explanation for it.
I mean, I blame it all on a mom who looks like everybody.
Right.
I feel like that is like, you know, I don't want to be too Freudian about it, but I feel like that's the central piece that we're missing here. So knowing all that in advance, Alicia, when you go back and see that they don't know that they're siblings and they don't necessarily know you can see that looking back. Does it change reading it for the first time?
A little bit, yeah, because it makes me go, don't be careful what you're doing there.
Don't hit your sister.
How did you know? Like, because I know these things, but I don't know like who is the person who established them. So like, was it Chris Claremont who established it? So like, how long did you know that?
He never actually
good point.
Says it. It's all just hinted at. I think it was like X-Men Unlimited #4 where it's explicitly said
that Nightcrawler's
because
they looked alike for a long time. People speculated it was like a theory, like, ooh, blue skin, like yellow eyes. Maybe they are related.
Right. And Mystique says something like she knows Nightcrawler's foster mom or adopted mom, and she says something about that during Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
But
sorry, Candace, is that a spoiler? Did we just spoil something? I don't know if anybody's like, wait, what?
But is Rogue? Are they like biological siblings or adopted siblings? Because that's different. Depending on
you're really trying to rate it on a Game of Thrones scale here, right? You're trying to say, like, how Lannister did we get with this?
You don't know Amanda Sefton either. So that's it's all just
I don't
complicated in a weird way.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I just say my girlfriend and I just finished season 5 of Game of Thrones literally tonight before we got on the show. She's doing her first time watching through.
So I picked a good
perfect. Yes,
well, as this sibling rivalry is going down, we've also got another pistol. Mystique had picked one up. She's drawn it out onto Carol. She pops a cap in her, totally drops her. And then Carol apparently used her incredible reflexes to just let it be a grazing wound. And then pops up just in time to punch Nick Fury, Mystique. And I think it's amazing that the second you punch him, he's like, she says, "Oh, I really just want to look like Storm."
I know.
It's like resetting your computer and then the desktop screen changes to its like natural look, and she's just like, God, I really just want to look like Storm. And instantly she's Storm again. Meanwhile, Rogue has absorbed Storm's powers and is like, that might be a bit much. I don't know how much I can control of this. There's hurricanes in the hallway now. Everybody's trying to dodge this. Storm, meanwhile, is like, I'm just going to wrap this up. I'm going to put her in a cape. That's what I'm going to do. Just tie that off. And then Wolverine's like, let me cut. And she's like, wait, you're ruining my cape plan. I can't wrap her in a cape. And then you cut this is not working. So not the best teamwork happening here.
Fashion.
Right. Oh, what were your thoughts, Alicia, here on this portion of the fight?
Okay. First, whoa. So many things. And I was really confused about Mystique turning into Storm because I was like, you know that she's here with Storm.
Right.
So
she was just thinking about Storm.
And you know that Storm's not a shape. So how do you go from Nick Fury to Storm? You're just I don't know. Confused. I get it. Everybody wants to be Storm.
It's like you're sitting in church and you're like, don't think of something funny. And then it's like, nah, crap. In this case, she's like, don't think of something awesome. And she's like, oh, done. I'm done.
Yeah. And I really liked the way that Rogue couldn't handle Storm's powers. I thought that was really cool because it's not a weakness that I would have expected. You know, it's not how I would have expected the battle to sort of come to a place where it turned, because she was like really crushing them for a while. And then it always just makes me excited when I get to see Storm in a light that is, you know, powerful and amazing, because she is powerful and amazing. So knowing, okay, like Rogue can handle Wolverine's powers, Rogue took in Carol's powers, she can do this, this, and that, but she can't handle Storm's powers, is a way to say like, oh yeah, Storm's super powerful, just in case you forgot. And so I thought that was a really cool and also unexpected way for the tables to turn, essentially.
Yeah.
Well said. Love it.
Yes.
Either of the Justins have any thoughts on this portion here?
Also, just like good at her powers and really tactical. You know, there was the time earlier in the issue where she floods Rogue down the hallway to just get her out of there, and then uses this tornado to launch her up. I do want to call out this one panel where Rogue's in between the three of them, and there's just limbs flying everywhere. It reminds me of those old cartoons where it's just like a cloud of puff smoke, and there's just as they fall off the side.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. No good.
Yeah, I like the 007 vibes with the gun showing up. I thinking like Austin Powers almost.
Yes.
Showing up at the end there. And then what was the other thing I was going to say with this? I echo what Alicia said there with the fact that yes, Storm Omega level, you know, that it should be challenging. It should be like, whoa, like this is way too much. I like that that was an angle for the writing for this. So
Totally.
that was a cool way to go about it.
Krista mentions there's a Murder World episode where Mystique had an opportunity to kill Nightcrawler and couldn't do it.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, I love my Murder World stuff.
What's up, Mike S? Good to see you, sir. How you doing?
Hey.
He says, I finally finished reading this for the first time. It was a great issue for you guys to discuss. It's a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fight continues. We got some kicking, then a tornado from Storm. She's trying to like catch her up in a tornado. Meanwhile, here's what I picture with this fight between Mystique and Carol Danvers. I want to pick. For me, it is like a cartoon. Every time she punches Mystique, I want her to like turn into a different person. It's like bang, bang, bang. Just keep hitting her, and then it's like all of a sudden she's Mystique again, and she's Storm, and she's Nick Fury. And then of course, waits until the cops come and take her away, and nobody questions who's the blonde lady, like in our control room with all the computers, who's deleting files.
Yeah,
because
she's in uniform. She's fine.
It has nothing. Looks nothing like any of their uniforms. Like, oh no, don't worry, I'll wrap up here.
She has a hat. It has emblems on it.
She's got gloves, no fingerprints.
They were like, we don't want to be rude and question her. That would be awful.
But in the end, Carol decides not only to delete the X-Men files that they were there for, but her own files as well. She wants a fresh start. She looks at who she used to be and who she was as a soldier or versus who she was as Ms. Marvel, and feels like none of those things are her anymore. And so she's looking to just like reboot, as if that will somehow change where she's at in her life. But
yeah, this is like where this is where things really flip. Where what we were talking about in the beginning, where this becomes very focused on Danvers, and I like it. Like I like that we're. Again, I mean, I haven't read much on Danvers from this era other than what we've covered that tie into the X-Men. So, being a reader of that, I guess, lack of knowledge of at that moment or this time period, I like that they took some time to explain some more stuff, or not explain, but more just show her side of like questioning things still and trying to. Clearly, she is very upset still, which we got glimpses of in the past in Avengers 10 and things like that. But this is definitely more of an emotional moment for her, or moments for her. So I like that it, and this is why I was saying before, like if they could somehow hint in the cover that she would maybe, I don't know, her face in the background faded somehow separately from the action or something. I don't know, something like that. But,
I think, and this is just how I understood it as a fan later, was just that there was so much to do with the lack of success of her book and it getting its early cancel, that characters like Rogue, Mystique, and Ms. Marvel were often shuffled to the side. And it took a while before those ladies really got their due. And this is just another example of that kind of, I guess, editorial decision making that kind of took them out of play, which is, it's a shame. Absolutely a shame. And yes, Krista, exactly like Randall in Monsters Inc. I would have referenced that, but it seemed a little bit off brand for us, and I wasn't sure how many people get it. So shout out to you, Krista. Daryl is here. Good to see you. It's been an hour. I'm not recapping.
All right, from the beginning, folks. From the beginning,
and we're back. Anybody have any thoughts on? I mean, this is a Carol issue, and it's kind of pivotal for her. Anybody have any thoughts on this era of Carol, Alicia?
I mean, I'm interested it makes me interested to know how she evolves after this, like the whole idea of in the beginning of the issue, them saying, oh, you lost your powers, but like inside you, there's still this thing. And it makes me wonder how she gets back. Because obviously she gets back, right? She has them back eventually. So I'm intrigued by that. And that's always a thing that's difficult for me when I only go through one comic, is then I'm like, oh no, but what happens next?
Oh no, it sounds like we have to go through the Brood saga, because that's also where it happens.
Oh no, the Brood saga, that's Justin's favorite. He always talks about it.
I love the Brood saga.
I love the Brood too. What does you like about the Brood, Justin?
What do I like about it? Oh, what do I not? It's Paul Smith. I love Paul Smith.
Oh, is that your favorite?
It probably. Hard to answer that.
Along with
Sylvester, and I really like, at the end of this issue, we're given a blank slate for Carol. We've got the seeds that she could be something more, but she is able to completely clear any knowledge of her other than recognize her on sight. And the Avengers know who she is, I guess, but she's able to just start fresh and go wherever she wants to go. And it's really an exciting arc of where she goes from here.
And that's what Jackson Roy Kirk is saying as well in the chat. Like, you're in for a treat with that, the evolution of Carol across this particular portion. And you can see with Claremont his love for the character, right? I mean, he really wants to tell an interesting story with her, and he did it through the Ms. Marvel run, but clearly that was cut short, and he still had plans for Rogue and Mystique. And so it's his way of kind of still getting those things into the story that he wanted. And I think I got one more page left here. Yeah. The last page is Carol walking out, letting everybody know mission achieved. Everything's been taken care of. No more Ms. Marvel, even though there's like that yellow in the background behind her, Ms. Marvel in the past. So Justin, thoughts here on how this all wrapped up? What are your thoughts on this issue here?
Me?
Yeah. Sorry. No good.
So I really like the panel with the fade out of Miss Marvel there, kind of in the background.
The yellow, last one.
I would like to know more of like kind of the direction of where things go. And it's definitely made me more intrigued to just read more for Carol Danvers, and as Alicia mentioned, just like how her character develops more, and how does she grow from this. I mean, obviously she could have gone evil. Could have been a superhero. I know she's a good guy, but like, overall, at this point, anything could have happened. So the other thing I was going to mention too, that I forgot was, I like how she like questions herself on like, should I have turned Mystique in, or should I have like killed her when I had the chance? Because she's like, because I legitimately would be worried about the same thing. She's like, if Mystique, or when Mystique escapes, I literally am going to have to watch my back for the rest of my life, because that girl's just going to sneak up as my own loved one and kill me. So bad move, Danvers. Bad move.
Yeah. And they also just let her walk out again. I agree. Bye, NASA lady. Thanks for the files. Who's the blue guy?
Yeah.
Like there's no question about the fact that she came in with these other people who destroyed the place, and she's walking out by herself. There's like, see ya.
So, Alicia, then how are you feeling about the resolution here? With the end, the overall thoughts on this issue, this story, this Carol story?
I'm intrigued. I like the idea of this like relationship between Carol deciding to sort of make a name for herself as she is now, and getting rid of the past and getting rid of what people might say about her, especially because it seems like she doesn't really remember all of it because Rogue also like took her memories. So like this clean slate idea that like she's sort of tying into what the X-Men are doing. Like they want a clean slate. They want to make their own name for themselves. So she wants to do the same thing. And I think that that's really interesting. I think that is the part of the story that feels like it was wrapped up, whereas not wrapped up, but that feels like that's a contained story, and like Carol deciding this is how she's going to take on her new identity going forward.
Right. But that chapter closes, right?
Yeah. All the other stuff is just like, okay, but when does Rogue come back, and what's going on with TV and Peter, and like where did the Starjammers go, and like Alex, how's your dad, and like that are like, whoa, okay, we just had a journey together in just a short pages. But overall I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Know that I picked this issue because of how self-contained it was compared to all the other ones.
Yeah,
there was,
you know me
you
well.
Trying to just latch you in on an arc that you're like, all right, what's going on with Rogue, what's going on with Carol? Yeah. I can tell you. I have the issues. You want to go? You want
just plop that omnibus down in front of you and go. Get to town. So podcast, Justin. This as a contained issue. Were you pleased with it on rereading here?
Oh yeah, I think this is a good issue, especially for its era. It does a solid job of really containing this almost larger than the back half of the issue, focused on this one mission. Great action, great subterfuge as they're easily breaking into the Pentagon. Lots of big name characters, which I think is great. I think that the plots that they seed, just a couple of panels in those first handful of pages, spread out over the next 10 or so issues as they then continue to go. This does a lot of heavy lifting in that you have an arc, you introduce Rogue into Uncanny X-Men, you bring Carol a little bit more onto the X-Men side, and then you have a lot more stuff to play with later on. This is good.
And No Good Comics, last thoughts.
Yeah, well said. I agree with everything you guys are saying here. I think I liked so much of the different characters that we got kind of brought back in. While it is all over the place, it just helps not button up, but like, I guess, progress where certain storylines are. And and again, and we do get moments of the downtime stuff, like Peter and his sister, and Kitty Pryde and some of the other team that are just kind of around, or the training that was in the beginning, things like that. Like, it's almost like it's a filler issue, but at the same time it's not, because of how much we get out of it. And like you were saying, Justin, like plants the seeds for all these other potential stories that are to come. Right. So I like it for that. I like it for the action scene. We get a ton of action here as well. The other thing too, the Starjammer, Corsair, even though we didn't get the full thing, like I like that they at least like touched on that okay, like they are going to visit Alex, they are breaking the news to him, even though the way they did it was very abrupt. Right. I do like that it just touched on all these little aspects. And then the other thing too was having Robert Kelly in it, just seeing again more of the battle between humans and mutants, and what the world kind of views mutants as, just seeing that grow to knowing what it leads to. I just like that we're getting little hints of that along the way as well. So this had a little bit of everything for me.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It definitely has a little bit of everything, and that's part of the flaw and what works for me as well. Like, the flaw is it's just got too much. Like, I can't even concentrate on any one thing because it's so overwhelming. But Chaos is trying to guess a lot of our ratings, and it's very entertaining. But I think Jackson Roy Kirk nails it with, like, as a Carol Danvers story, this works really well. The art I would grade a lot higher. Pentagon Security, I would absolutely say, I don't know what Ethan Hunt had a hard time with. It seemed like they really struggled to get in there, and I don't think he tried the Carol Danvers method.
Just
Would have
walk
worked out.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
just go right in.
I got a uniform, man.
I got a Canadian. So Justin, are we doing the scores now, or do we do the scores after? Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to
Go.
probably give this 7.5. I think. I just feel like it's too much for like my brain to manage altogether. What makes it work is good fights and Carol Danvers' story for me. A lot of the other stuff, I'm just like, why is that in here? Like, but that's just me. No good comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's totally fair grade. I was leaning closer to an 8 or an 8.5 even, just with again, just how it ties a lot of, or touches on and progresses a lot of the different story arcs. And again, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun, the issue. So I'll go with an 8.5 for this.
All right, Alicia.
I too am going a 7.5. I think I like that it touched on all of the characters and got a little bit, like, for me, it was great to get a glimpse of like all the things that are happening for the X-Men at this point in time. The story was good, but there wasn't anything in here that made me feel like I like jaw dropped. Oh my God, what a crazy, amazing issue. So I feel like it wasn't bad. It kept me entertained, but it didn't blow my mind. So a 7.5 is where I'm at.
Nice.
All right.
What about Carol? What about the Brood?
You're getting questionable.
Yeah, no.
And Justin, what about you? What would you grade this one?
I put it at an 8. I just feel like it does a really good job at bringing you into where the X-Men are and then going on a mission and actually having a relatively self-contained mission where they further not only themselves as a unit, but the individual character of Carol, and then you're building up the brotherhood side of things. I think this is a solid issue.
Yeah. Justin, looks like Chaos wants more big space fish.
Oh yeah, I want more
that.
big space fish too. Now.
Bobby likes the chef hat, so that's what was working for Bobby. Good to hear. Good to hear. The math for this issue looks like there is 199, last sold in 2019 for about $925. There are about 327 9/8 selling for around $300 fair market value, and then of course drops off after that. I'm thought I'd throw in that Senator Kelly's first appearance is in issue 135. If you're looking for more stuff with him, this retells some of the origin, like we said, of Rogue and Carol. This is technically the second appearance of Rogue, but it's tied. Like I mentioned, there are 2 issues of Rom Space Knight, which I've actually never read. Have anybody on the panel read Rom Space Knight?
Nope.
Really not.
So the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants appear in issues 31 and 32, and Rogue is in both of those. Issue 31 came out the same time as this book, so they're kind of tied. And a lot of times overlooked, those ROM issues, as far as collecting and investing goes. Those are some underrated keys. ROM, Space Knight, 31 and 32. Nice. And that's pretty much it.
9.9. That's wild.
There is a 9.9. Yeah. Stop sharing that and get back to, hey, we're large sized again.
Woo!
As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we jump back and forth between Justin's and my channel. You want to subscribe there, and all the links for the Ex-Wife podcast also down below. So while we're doing trivia, if you're not getting beat by the incredibly speedy internet of Chet Scotland, you can subscribe to everybody and be aware of all the great X-Men content that is being put out into the universe by the people on this panel.
Yep.
We ask trivia each week about the previous episode. So today we're talking about the show we did on Justin's channel, discussing issue 157. Those of you in the chat who saw the episode or read the issue might have a good shot of getting the first 2 correct answers and getting raffle tickets or entries into our big giveaway. If you haven't seen it or you don't remember it, all you got to do is say something kind of clever, witty, funny. And if Alicia or Justin like it, you might also get an entry just for your ability to make us all laugh. So we've got 4 questions for you, and we're looking for the first 2 correct ones and the funniest one. Justin, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So my first question is, this is towards the beginning of the issue. What happened to Wolverine when he and Peter were working on the Starjammer spaceship and an explosion happened? Something happened to Wolverine. What happened to him when there was this large explosion during their repairs to the Starjammer's ship?
It's dangerous when you use that much hair gel. I think some of that hairspray is very flammable. You gotta watch out. You don't want to be, That's why he never got along with Starfire, I think. Or Sunfire. Sunfire. My bad. Sunfire.
No one ever got along.
One of my least favorite new team members.
It's like, you all suck. I'm out of here.
I mean, he basically lasted that long. That was about as many sentences as he said. Chode. That's a solid answer. That's all you got for me? Just
okay.
You accidentally sold the second appearance of Rogue for $5 to Southern Comic Geek on accident?
Don't have done that.
All right. Justin, do you see any correct answers according to you?
Yes, I see two correct answers. Tony Oldwolf went into space, and then JP also right below him flew off into space.
All right.
Explosion, and he went flying.
All his hair burned off, says JP Budget Collecting. He woke up to see Diana Ross eating his sandwich. We had one episode without Magic Lasso in our chat, and you've got to go and bring it in for him. Everyone has a chance tonight because Lasso's not here.
True.
This is how it works. You show up on those nights when Chet's internet's down or he's working out, and you can get in on this.
Yeah.
So far, one-ish comedy answer so far. I'm giving Bobby a half a comedy answer. Nothing happened. Bazinga.
They have to play to the judges here, and so saying the sandwich thing, the inside joke of the sandwich, if they don't know what the sandwich is, it's might not be funny to them.
But while we have the time waiting for comedy answers, so Alicia, there's an issue where the X-Men are flying in the Blackbird, and Storm is piloting the ship, and as they're coming in for a landing, we find out Wolverine is in the back getting a sandwich, and he walks up to the cockpit. He's eating a sandwich, and she has to make a quick turn, and his adamantium-filled body goes flying around the cockpit, hits her in the head. She gets knocked unconscious, and they crash.
And I said he couldn't just wait and eat after or eat way before the mission. Like
this actually happens in the book. Don't make a sandwich while in flight.
No,
it's a rookie move.
Also impressive, the kitchen in the Blackbird with sandwiches.
Right. Yeah. Deli meat stacked in the Blackbird. How often is that changed out?
I mean, I don't know. How long has that sandwich been there? I don't know. These are important questions. I mean, thanks, Tony. Hair gel question mark. I think he used chicken grease. Page turn noise playing to the judges. See, there it is. So not a bastion of comedy glory there. Justin, Alicia, do you have anything that you want to throw a point to?
Yeah, I'm feeling into the all his hair burned off answer.
All right, there you go.
Where was that one? Scrolling up. JP coming in strong. He's trying to get back in the lead here. Sove Collector absent, it seems, and might lose his spot in line.
Yep.
My first question is, what is it that Kitty Pryde did in the last issue to scare the Imperial Guard soldiers away? Like what was her fear tactic to scare those guards away? Setting people up for some comedy here. Let's really like rise to the occasion of the setup there, folks. Come on now. Kitty has Blackbird duty. She needs to do something. I concur. She doesn't need to learn how to fly it. Okay. She becomes Dark Phoenix, and I'm going to accept that. I mean, I don't think she but yeah, she uses the device there, so I'm going to count it. We got Mike S.
Nice. Mike is on the board. And we got Chet Scotland. Where are you at, Chet? How much do you have here? You got hold on. Let's check Chet's
spelling. Check spelling. He capitalized Dark and Phoenix.
All right. He didn't capitalize she, and he didn't put a period at the end of Phoenix.
He did, however, tie a Sove Collector, so he is now tied up there. Nice. Let's see here. We got she changed costumes every other panel. It was really impressive.
She did.
So far, everybody's getting the correct answer. She told the guards that she's underage and it backfires. It doesn't stop any X-Men characters. Might be a little too close. Might be a little too close to home there. She totally dressed up as Darth Vader in a previous issue.
First appearance of Vader in an X-Men book.
It's the first X-Men Star Wars crossover comic that I'm aware of. She turned into a Hooters waitress. She started asking which internet service they had. There's no funny people here tonight. There's not any of them. Burnt his sandwich. We're back to sandwich comedy.
Yeah.
It's making me hungry.
I know, right? Okay, so Justin, what do we got? Anything making you laugh? Anything you like?
I laughed at Albert Loves Comics. She told the guards that she's underage, and
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well done,
That was-
Albert.
That is well played and on point with tonight's issue as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right, Justin, what's your second or the third overall question?
My next one is who stopped Admiral Lord Samadar from blowing up the Earth? Or what? I'm sorry, what stopped? What stopped
Admiral?
Lord Samadar? Because he did give the order to
Something
fire
happened.
fire
We're still
the
here.
laser, and something happened.
Sharks with lasers.
Freaking lasers. Trying to blow up the Earth. He should. Oh no, I won't say anything. Some good comedy.
Daryl's going with inside comedy again. I don't know how that's going to play. We'll see.
Daryl.
So we've got Mike S with the speedy internet playing strong tonight,
Nice.
and JP right behind him.
Boom.
So those are the two that I saw with correct answers first. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is an inside joke because once there was somebody in our chat, I'm not going to name names, didn't know how to type or got the spell correct going, and they typed Rachel Dinners instead of Rachel Summers, and we all stuck with it. We
We
like it.
just stuck with it.
We like this
Yeah.
first appearance character.
Right.
Bugs Bunny stole the detonator.
There you go.
Cyclops' ego stopped the laser. There you go. Starting from the beginning. Have a good night. Wait, what's going on now?
What?
Backwards line. I mean, I don't know. You stopped it, Candace. You
Nice,
stopped.
Candace. Nice.
Thank you for that, saving our planet. I appreciate you doing that. Very, very valuable of you. Yeah, the comedies. This has been the saddest comedy episode we've ever done.
A lot of
Bear
swinging and
Island is
missing
here.
Swinging and
I
missing.
said Rachel Dinners, and I meant it. There you go. Brood burlesque show before he gave the order. I mean, I really need somebody to draw that. I really need that.
but also, I
His,
don't read it.
his mom called and he couldn't do it after he talked to her. That's awkward. All right, Alicia, you get to pick. What do we got here? Do we have a winner?
Cyclops' ego.
Nice.
Okay, Cyclops' ego for the win. So JP
again.
playing to the judges and his own preference in
Yes,
comedy.
yes.
Cyclops or
He's not a Cyclops fan.
Hey, we were
Okay.
working on that. We're working on that one.
He does tend to draw a lot of lines in the sand for people, I'll tell you.
You got
All right.
not
My
me.
last question, and spelling matters on my last question.
Oh, yes.
This is a very important character from the last issue, but what is the name of the Starjammer's medical robot?
Mm.
The awesome medical robot from the last issue that was basically kicking Wolverine out of the medical bay and hooking up with Storm on the sly so that they could go and try to heal any injured characters like Colossus.
That's right. He did kick out everybody but Storm.
He totally looked at the group of them and was like, I need medical assistance from her. Somebody's going to take my temperature.
Maybe we'll see this character written in some of the Hickman stuff.
I would be pumped by that. And here's my favorite thing. It's got a Y on the end, buddy, which means Old Wolf gets a point and Krista gets a point. Spelling,
Chet,
baby.
dude.
Spelling. It's an ongoing joke that Chet misspells every correct answer, but he's
He
always the
does.
first one. This time
Yeah.
it's coming back to get you, buddy. It's got a
Yeah,
Y on the end. I even checked. Old Wolf And Krista with the points.
Nice.
Got him.
Yep.
All right. Hey, his name is Swish Swish Bish. Another one in the casket. That's pretty cool. I don't think it's Chad. That might be wrong. Storm's side piece. Solid name. Bender.
Hey.
Bender solid. This is amazing. R2 Dr. Oz. Wow. Let's see. Lovebot. Herbie the Lovebot. Let's see here. Wally's cousin twice removed. Dr. McStuffin. There you go. I actually think Magic and Apocalypse are your favorite. Nobody asked you, Chris. Get out of here.
I think he went back and he's watching in the beginning, so he's answering those.
He's answering questions from the beginning of the episode. Yeah, Justin, your pick.
Oh, where is it? I think it was Swish Swish.
Right there near the beginning. Mike S.
Nice.
Swish Swish Bish. Another one in the casket. All right, Mike S. comes in strong, gets 3 of the points on the night.
Nice.
We have a tie, a 3-way tie in the lead. Chet, Sove, and JP all in the lead. Magic Lasso 1 point off.
Oof.
And that's where we're going to leave it until next week. 159 over there on the No Good Comics YouTube channel. I'm sorry we went super long tonight, but we have a great panel and a very entertaining book to discuss. So you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Hit the likes, hit the subscribes, go and follow. If you're a podcast fan and an X-Men fan, I think you got some work to do, folks. Get on over there and get yourselves caught up on the Ex-Wife podcast. Huge thank you guys for spending an hour and a half with us to talk about this silly Carol Danvers comic.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. It was a blast. It's just what I needed in my day, actually.
Nice.
Right? And you guys have anything important coming up you want people to know about? Anything that you want to make them aware of what's going on? When is the next episode dropping?
Our episodes normally drop on Friday mornings or Thursday nights, depending how feverishly I edit them. And we talk about that week's comics that came out on Wednesday. So we're gearing up for Dark Web. That's probably something. Ooh. Dark Web and Sins of Sinister. Yeah, it's an event. Couple months, as they then actually topical. Brood and Carol are going to be in a crossover story in February, as
right here
in the seeds for that right now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Just glad there was no indie show tonight. Yeah. Well, I knew there was no show we were going to run to, Daryl, so we didn't have to run off to jump to another one. Justin, anything you want people to know about? Anything going on for you? I know you just got back from a big trip.
Yeah, no, just doing my thing, but just to echo everything you guys said, make sure you are subbed up and following the Ex-Wife podcast. Definitely a good time. Really enjoy. I do a lot more driving and traveling than you, John. I know you said you don't always get as much time to listen out to podcasts just in general. But yeah, you guys are my to and from to work pretty regularly. So awesome. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming. And like I said, next week over on Justin's channel. All righty. Peace.
Later.